on your board of directors and to welcome you to our service on this beautiful fall morning. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a middle-aged white woman with shoulder-length gray hair and light color framed glasses. Today I'm wearing a gray, or on the screen looks kind of purple, sweater, and a beautiful necklace that was purchased last week at Gallery by my husband with some wonderful help from Ann Joseph. Thank you, Ann. And while I'm sharing some thanks around Gallery, our 57th year of hosting this amazing art show, I would like to thank all of the gallery directors, all of the gallery organizers, and all of the gallery volunteers. And if you are one of those people, if you could please stand as you're able or just wave so we can thank you. Thank you so much for the generosity of your time and talents in serving Gallery. And if you were someone who showed up and shopped, we thank you too. Whether you are new to our church, a longtime member, a member of another UU congregation passing through, however you found yourself here with us this morning, we welcome you. Your presence here matters. While we have a shared mission, values, and a covenant that describe who we are together, it's each person here who brings their unique gifts and presence to make this community what it is. Yesterday, here in the Great Hall, we celebrated the life and mourned the loss of a dear member of this congregation, Leon Andrews. Leon was a warm and generous man. And yesterday, many here described how his presence made them and this community better. And one of Leon's greatest gifts was helping others feel warmly welcomed to contribute what was unique to them. Here, we strive to bring that spirit of beloved community so that together we can build the world that we dream about. So thank you for being here and being part of this joyful, beloved community this morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I am the Reverend Sherman Z. Logan Jr., and I have the honor of serving this wonderful congregation as the senior minister. I use he, his, him pronouns. I am a tall, brown-skinned, black man, bald head, tortoise-framed glasses, a white beard, wearing a black pinstripe suit, a white shirt, black bow tie, and this white stole. And welcome to First UU. Providing the ministry of music this morning, Jamie Kirkpatrick, youth ensemble, and our song leader, Joanne Walker. And in the AV booth, Eric Bauer and Eric Glassman. We have a tradition here at First UU where we invite our visitors to tell us who they are and where they're from. So if you're visiting with us today and as you're comfortable, raise your hand and Jamie will come to you. Are there any visitors this morning? And I know there are some.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. I am Bill Young. My wife is here with me, Martha Page, and we are visiting from the UU meeting of South Berkshire in far western Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Good morning. My name is David Jackson, and I'm here from Washington, D.C., and I belong to the All Souls Unitarian Church there. And I'm here to drag my daughter here because she's been living in Richmond for some time and hasn't been here.
Thank you.
And I'm Jill.
Welcome, Jill. Welcome, David. All right. Okay.
Good morning. I'm David, and I live here, so thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you so much for taking the time to worship with us, and we welcome you here. So now, please rise in body or spirit and greet your neighbors and welcome our visitors.
We're next, right?
Yep.
So you'll signal us.
Now, right after Kong and me, step up.
Good to see you. That was a very good service.
Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Anne Marie McCartan. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white lady in her senior years with white shoulder-length hair, dark rimmed glasses, and a black and white dress. I appear here today as chair of the church's endowment fund. Joining me on my left is Doug Wayne. Other members of the committee unable to attend today are Larry Schwartz, Joe Rupp, Dorothy Jarina, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, and Larry Kruger, who represents the board on an ad hoc basis and is our church treasurer. So, the endowment fund. No doubt you've heard of it, but what is it? What's its purpose? Why is it in existence? How much money is in the corpus? Why should you contribute? All great questions, none of which we have time to answer today. Rather, the Endowment Committee has determined that this year we are going to embark on a series of opportunities for you to learn more about the Endowment Fund and why it is so important to the future of this church and this congregation. But we do have an immediate answer to your question, because you may or may not know that by board policy, each year, based on earnings over a 12-month period, 5% of those earnings are transferred to the church's general fund. So again, it's transferred from the earnings to the general fund. This year, we are very pleased to be able to present to the church a check in the amount of $17,623. Accepting on behalf of the board is our chair, Sharon Amos. We'd like you to pose for a photo op with us briefly. So again, please stay tuned, because that is a significant amount of money, and there are ways that you can contribute in the short term, and when I say the longer term, I mean post-existence kind of term, that we will fill you in on in coming days. So thank you very much.
I would like to introduce Natalia Mercer,
who has been asking me for over a year to sing the following song, and I finally found a reason to let her.
I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Where are you going?" And this he told me, "I'm going on down to Yasgur's farm. I'm gonna join in a rock and roll band. I'm gonna camp out on the land. I'm gonna try and get my soul free. We are stardust. We are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden." So can I walk beside you? I have come in to lose the smog, and I feel to be a cog in something turning. Maybe it is just the time of year, or maybe it's the time of man. I don't know who I am, but you know life is for learning. We are stardust. We are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere there was song and celebration. And I dreamt I saw the bombers riding shotgun in the sky, and they were turning in to butterflies above our nation. We are stardust, billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden.
I call to worship this morning words from Sharon Wiley. It is said that ministers are here to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. I said we are all afflicted and we all are comfortable. May our time together this morning be a comfort and a confrontation. May we here find peace in times of tumult, May we here invite tumult into our lives of peace. May we here find calm in times of restlessness. May we allow the restlessness to evolve into action. Let this be a place you consider what you never considered. Let this be a place you imagine for yourself, something new and unthinkable. May this hour bring dreams of new ways of being in the world. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. My name is Lynn Edwards, she, her. I have white hair with still some gray left in it, olive-colored skin that I think comes from Mediterranean or Middle Eastern heritage. I'm wearing a bright magenta sort of turtleneck with a black poncho that has these leather flowers all over it, and black leggings that have magenta and purple flowers on them. The chalice lighting this morning is from The Great Turning by Lisa Garcia Sampson. In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. As we light this chalice, we kindle the spirit of the Great Turning, the movement for justice alive in this nation today. May we feel it in our bones, and in the stillness of this hour, may we sense it calling our name.
Please rise and body of spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 116, I Am On My Way. This morning, we are welcoming the Reverend Rob Moore as our affiliated community minister. Community ministry is a way of bringing Unitarian Universalist ministry to the world beyond our walls in a number of ways, through chaplaincy, hospice care, or working in a nonprofit organization, for example.
Being affiliated with this congregation means Reverend Rob is connected to us. It helps to ground his ministry and to remain in good standing and relationship with our larger Unitarian Universalist Association. Through his connection with First UU, Reverend Rob will maintain his connection with UUA, and we get to benefit from his ministry gifts of spiritual direction and faith formation. It's a joy to welcome Reverend Rob and to commission him to this role now.
Our congregational family is constantly changing. People come and go. Baby is born. Children grow up. People commit themselves to one another. Loved ones and friends among us come to the end of their lives. Individuals move on into our community. Others leave, moving away to new places, new experiences, and new opportunity. It is important and right that we recognize these times of passage, of endings and beginnings. Today, we welcome Reverend Rob into the shared ministry with our congregation.
I thank First UU for welcoming me to this community. I look forward to continuing the connection, care, and kindness I've experienced as a part of this community. I look forward to being engaged with your spiritual and faith formation and your pastoral care needs. I anticipate that we will make mistakes together and with each other, and that we will provide kindness and guidance to each other as a result. I am grateful for the learning moments that will be possible.
Welcome. And as we live into our mission and shared values, I look forward to our collegial conversation and support of each other's ministry at First UU.
And I look forward to celebrating with you, holding sorrows with you, taking part in meaning-making with this congregation and with the community at large. I appreciate that we have a shared covenant of ministry together.
I ask the First UU members, present and online, do you offer your encouragement for Reverend Rob's ministry with our congregation, knowing that our congregation's ministry needs evolve over time? Do you, all the members, friends, visitors, and staff of First UU, welcome Reverend Rob as an affiliated community minister?
We do. We welcome you in gratitude for your offered ministry. We offer kindness and care as you learn about us and as we get to know you.
And look forward to growing in shared ministry.
We have officially recognized a relationship that has been strongly felt by this congregation. Truly, this is a day of celebration for community ministry, for our church, for Reverend Rob, now our officially affiliated community minister. Congratulations.
Casey's here. Is there a Matt Kuhn in the room? Because I don't want to take, okay. All right, he is the director of Richmond Cycling Corps, who is the group for our Share the Plate this month. The Richmond Cycling Corps is a local nonprofit organization that uses cycling as a tool to create engagement with the youth living in the East End. They do this in a number of ways. They have a competitive race team that races against private schools all around the state. And they have a more casual riding team that's less focused on racing or performance and more focused on the fact that bikes are fun as heck. And they work with various schools and programs all around town running cycling-based program. Founded in 2010, they've been doing this work for nearly 15 years. They often talk about cycling being their hook. It's how they get youth involved and begin to build a relationship with them. While cycling is one of their main programs, at its heart, the organization is serving disadvantaged youth who live in and around public housing. Their approach has always been to provide quality, around-the-clock support for the youth. They like to think of themselves as running backup for parents and teachers. And this often means helping kids with schoolwork, but it also means getting rides to and from school, trips to the doctor, to the dentist, helping build a resume. He's even made a couple of helped kids get driver's licenses. Anything you can think of that a teenager might need help with, they're there to help. Another thing they do is run the kickstand down on the Virginia Capitol Trail. The kickstand is a bicycle rental shop that is uniquely located right at the start of the Capitol Trail and close to the James River Park system. Through the kickstand, RCC provides workforce development opportunities, employment with on-the-job training, experience working with customers, and the opportunity to learn about business operations. Like Unitarian Universalists, they do this because they feel that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. Like UUs, they're working to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. He says he would like to thank First UU for having them here and for our generous Share the Plate program. And he would personally like to thank Rick Carr for nominating the Richmond Cycling Corps for Share the Plate. So thank you all for helping them continue to make connections with and help the youth of Richmond.
Please look to the screen for ways to give. An offering be taken and most graciously received.
Good morning. My name is Leanne Luskin, she, her. I am your Director of Lifespan Faith Formation. I am a white woman in my mid-40s. I have light red hair pulled back away from my face. I have a gray t-shirt on with a chalice that is made of the words, "My faith is love," and then our values listed underneath. And I have around my shoulders a black and white keffiyeh scarf to show my love for the people of Palestine. During our multi-generational services where we all worship together, we typically have a time for all ages, and sometimes that's me reading a story, sometimes we do something together. Today, I am asking for some brave volunteers. I will give our young UUs first dibs, but anyone who wants to can participate. We are going to be hearing quotes from civil rights leaders from the book We Are the Change. So I have cue cards with quotes, and our volunteers will line up here in front of the chancel, read their quote, and pass the mic. And I've had a few brave souls tell me already that they'd like to participate. So those folks, I see Kaya, so those folks can come on forward And we need about 8 more people. So if you would like to come up and read a quote, yay, thank you. Thank you, Courtney, for helping to organize our volunteers in the spirit of community and play. We just go with it, and we don't make mistakes. We're doing our best. And I'm so grateful for everyone who is participating. So while Courtney's organizing, folks, I just want to say a few words about this choice of activity. Oh, we need one more? Here comes Ginger. You're doing great. This time in our society and our culture and our country feels, to me, so like just unsettling. There are many words you could use to describe this time for all of us. I choose unsettling. And some of my coping mechanisms are like standing at the kitchen counter eating a lot of cheese and like looking at social media, which like doesn't actually help all that much. And some of my other coping mechanisms, I see some thumbs up for cheese, all right. And some of my other coping mechanisms are right here in this room, because in a society that some would rather see us apart, this act of literally coming together to be in this space together can be revolutionary. So let's keep doing that. And Reverend Sherman is going to share some words about voting and our election. And voting is such an important way to have our voices heard, and it's not the only way, right? So we can show up to protest. My little sign says, Black Lives Matter. You can make your own little sign if you'd like at any point during service. There's materials up here. You can make your little protest sign and like stick it in a plant or put it in your car, whatever you'd like. Art is a way to have our voices heard. This one says vote, and it has some really pretty flowers behind it. These coloring pages and color pencils are also up here, so if anyone wants to come grab one, no matter your age and color, you are welcome to. Another source of strength for me are our ancestors. These are not the worst times we've ever been through, and I think we're ready. Our volunteers here are going to read some really powerful words from our ancestors to share with us, and we will have slides on the screen here to remind us that we are the change. Kaya, I'm ready when you are.
You must remember to never cease to act because you fear you may fail. Queen Lily Ukulani.
If there is no struggle, there's no progress. Frederick Douglass. We may not have chosen the time, but the time has chosen us. John Lewis.
Just like moons and light suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I will rise. Maya Angelou.
After all do universal human rights begin in small places. Choose to home so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any map of the world. Eleanor Roosevelt.
Nice job. We are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. Gwendolyn Brooks.
People have a right to different opinions, but those differences should not turn into hatred. We should love and care for each other because we are all one human race. Dolores Huerta.
There is but one coward on earth, and that is the coward we dare not know. W.E.B. Du Bois.
Yeah. In diversity, there is beauty, and there is strength. Maya Angelou.
Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but are not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you.
You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Khalil Gibran.
I'll tell you what freedom is to me. No fear. Nina Simone.
Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Helen Keller.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Barack Obama.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Thank you, everyone.
Song about tough times and resilience.
There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters when they find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will walk through the fires when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. There are more waters waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know.
Let us enter into a time of prayer, meditation, reflection. Spirit of life and love, known by many names and beyond all names, known in many ways and beyond our knowing, we come to you in this time of uncertainty, during this seasons of decision and discernment, when our nation faces choices that shape our shared future. Ground us, O Spirit, in the value of love and justice and the principles of democracy and dignity, that we may seek not only what benefits ourselves, but also what lifts up the vulnerable, the marginalized, and the forgotten. Grant us the courage to stand up for what is right, to speak with compassion and conviction, to listen deeply even when we disagree, and to act with integrity in the face of division. May we remember that our votes are not just for political parties or personalities, but for the lives of real people, our neighbor, our families, those known or unknown to us, whose voices may not always be heard. Bless those who serve in the halls of power, that they may be guided by wisdom and a commitment to justice, and may they lead with humility and grace, mindful of the sacred trust they hold. In a time of polarization and fear, help us, O Spirit, to be instrument of peace. May we build bridges where there are walls, extend kindness where there is hatred, and foster hope when despairs threaten to take root. Hold us in community, sustain us in love, and remind us that whatever the outcome, our work for justice, equity, and compassion continues. And may we continue this work together in faith and hope. In the names of all that are called holy, may this be so. Amen. Ashe.
Our reading is The Promise, the Practice, the People by Ian Hill. In this fall season of 2024, we are at a crossroads in history, a moment in time when democracy is not just a word or a system of government, but a living, breathing promise, a covenant we make with one another. This promise of democracy is one of collective power and shared responsibility. Many understand that this covenantal promise is not without its challenges. Democracy asks us to engage in issues, to participate in bringing about change, and to care deeply about one another. It is cultivated in small, consistent actions, in the conversations we have, the ways we listen to and learn from one another, as well as the votes we cast. It demands that we see beyond ourselves, recognizing the dignity of every person and honoring the rich diversity in our lives. In the words of Vice President Kamala Harris, democracy, our democracy, is not guaranteed. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight it, to guard it, and to never take it for granted. We, the people, have the power. You have the power. And when we vote, we expand the power, the possibility, and the promise of democracy. It is clear that at the heart of this democracy is the promise of the people, our hopes and our dreams. We are the democracy and the stewards of this promise, the practitioners of this sacred work. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe democracy is more than a political system. It's a shared journey, a collective responsibility, and a profound act of faith in one another. May we walk this path with grace, with purpose, and with phenomenal commitment to the common good. Amen.
I feel like preaching this morning. Friends, just in case you hadn't heard, Tuesday, November 5th is Election Day. And at the beginning of the year, I couldn't have imagined that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris would be the major party candidates for the highest political office in the land. However, regardless of who the presidential candidate may have been, we are facing a moment of reckoning for our democracy and our nation, and the very soul of who we are as a people. We stand at a crossroads where the choices we make and the action we take or fail to take will echo for generations. The responsibility on our shoulders in this year's elections is greater than it has ever been, and the historical significance of our decision cannot be ignored. This election, without a shadow of a doubt, is not just another election. It is an election that will define our generation, the most important election of our lifetime. Now, I know that may sound like something we hear every election cycle, and I heard this when I first voted in 1976, and I've heard it in every election cycle over the past 48 years. And a recent surveys from the Associated Press and ORC Center for Public Affairs Research find that roughly 3 of 4 Americans, 75%, believe that the upcoming election is vital to the future of our democracy. And yes, we are told by the media, political pundits, and social scientists that this election is the most important election of our lifetime. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this sentiment. During the previous election cycles, we're often told that this election, fill in the blank, would be the most important election of our lifetime. So it's natural to feel a bit skeptical about that claim. Indeed, I find myself feeling a little cynical. As a black man, I realize that in many ways, my life hasn't changed regardless who is elected president. The struggle faced by my ancestors and elders continues, as do the challenges confronted by those who exist on the margin of society. The systems of oppression that affect so many persist, just as they have after every election during my lifetime. So you can see why I am a bit cynical. But after thoughtful recollection, reflection, contemplation, and y'all know I'm a praying man, I'm here to tell you that this year, right now, I do believe that this is the most important election of our lifetime, because the stakes of the outcome of the election has never been higher for our country. So, beloved, this is our call to action, a call to responsibility, a call to faith. We're not simply choosing between parties or policies. We are standing in the breach between democracy and authoritarianism, between the promise of freedom and the threat of fascism. There are forces and work in our society that seek to roll back the progress in justice, equality, and compassion. And those forces wear many phases: the face of Christian nationalism, the erosion of human rights, attacks on free press, and the rise of conspiracy theories that undermine truth itself. This election is about the future of the nation. This is about the future of democracy. So when we often talk about democracy as if it's guaranteed and always will be there, no matter what we do or don't. But the truth is, democracy is not a permanent fixture. It's not something that exists in perpetuity. It's something that requires our constant attention and participation. Democracy is a living, breathing system of governance that depends on the people within, depends on us. And we are living in a time when the fragility of our democracy is more apparent than ever. The rights and freedoms that we often take for granted are under threat, and the very structure of our government is being tested. We are witnessing efforts to undermine voting rights, suppress voices, particularly voices of the marginalized Black, brown people, the poor, the young, and those who have been historically pushed to the edges of society. And when we fail to recognize the fragility of our democracy, we allow it to erode. When we sit on the sidelines, when we do not vote, when we do not engage, we give permission for injustice to continue. You see, our democracy is not self-sustaining. It requires active participation, constant vigilance, and collective responsibilities. So we must ask ourselves, what kind of democracy is it when not everyone have equal access to the ballot box? What kind of democracy is it when some are silenced and denied opportunity to participate in shaping their own futures? These are not just rhetorical questions. These are real and pressing issues that affect our lives, the lives of our neighbors, the future of this nation. And beloved, our nation is experiencing many challenges. Now, it's not like we hadn't experienced many trials and tribulations during the past 250 years as a country. However, it seems like there's a lot going on, isn't there? Sadly, we are more divided than ever. Families are torn apart, friendships are strained, communities are fractured. There are elements in our society that wish to turn our democratic experiments into something darker, more dangerous. We're seeing laws passed to restrict voting rights, attacks on marginalized community, disregards of the law, and attempt to silence dissent. And these are signs of creeping authoritarianism, a system that seeks control over freedom, submission over resistance, and conformity over the vibrant diversity that make this country strong. And people are scared, and when people are scared, they lash out. They look for someone to blame. They turn to hatred, division, and false promises for those who said, if we just turn back the clock, everything would be all right. I would fix it. But hear me when I say this. We cannot go back. We cannot go back to the time when only some people had rights, when only some people had a voice, when only some people were considered worthy of dignity and respect. We are moving forward, not backwards. We are marching towards justice, not retreating into fear. And let me tell you something. Fear is powerful. Fear is a tool that those in power has used for generations to keep us divided. Fear keeps us from reaching across the aisle, from seeing our common humanity, from building the world that we know is possible. But we have something more powerful than fear. We have love. We have hope. We have faith. And we know that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, and we are the ones who help bend it. So I want to get really personal for a minute. Saving democracy is not about us, this country, this moment. More importantly, saving democracy is about the future of our children. And I want to think about the world we're leaving for future generations. And as a grandfather of 6, I am worried. Our children, our grandchildren, and generations that come after them will inherit the consequences of the decisions we make today. They will inherit the systems we support, the policy we implement, and the leaders we choose. And I don't know about you, but when I look into the eyes of the next generation, I feel a deep responsibility. I think about the weight of my actions or inaction. You know, our children are watching us. They're looking for guidance. And let me tell you something this morning. They are smarter than some of us grown-ups. They see what is happening in their world. They see the division, the hatred, the fear. They're growing up where mass shootings in schools are a reality. They are growing up where climate change is no longer a distant threat, but something that is affecting their lives right now. They are growing up in a world where the rights of women, LGBTQ folks, of immigrant, people of color, are being threatened every day. And they're asking us, what are you going to do about it? So what are we going to tell them? That we are too tired? That we are too afraid? That we didn't think our voice matters? No, beloveds, we cannot tell them that. We must tell them that we fought, that we stood up, that we didn't back down, even when it was hard, even when the odds were against us. Because the truth is, the future belongs to them. And the decisions that we make today will shape the world they will inherit tomorrow. We are living in times where the very foundation of democracy is being shaken. There are forces out there, forces of division, of hate, fear that seek to erode the rights that generation before us has fought for. Our elders, our ancestors, marched, bled, and died to give us the privilege, the duty, the right to vote. And here we are in 2024, facing the possibility of seeing all of that unravel if we don't take action. Our democracy is at stake, and the stakes are too high for us to sit on the sidelines. This is not time to be neutral. This is time to take a stand. This is time to stand up. This is time to show up, to vote, to organize, to march, to protest, whatever it takes to ensure that the future of democracy, the future of this nation, the future of our children is one of justice, equality, and love. Because we are all connected. Our liberation is tied to one another's liberation. And Dr. King says it best. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What happened to the least of these happened to all of us. When the rights of any groups are eroded, when the dignity of any person is denied, we are all diminished. And beloveds, we can't afford to look the other way. We can't afford to remain silent. We are called, each and every one of us, to be the hands and feet of justice in this world. We are called to build a beloved community where all are welcome, where all are equal, and where all are free. And this moment right here is calling to us, and the future of democracy are in our hands. And if we let it slip away, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Now, I'm not saying this to scare anyone. I'm saying that you are in power. You have the power. You have the agency. And the decisions we make today will ripple through history. And our children and grandchildren will look back on this time and ask us once again, what did they do? Did they stand up for justice? Did they remain silent? We don't have the luxury of waiting for someone to come to save us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that must do the work. We must raise our voices. We must make our presence known. The future of the nation is in our hands. Our Unitarian Universalist faith teaches us that we are all interconnected, that we are a part of the same human family, and what affects one of us affects all of us. And so when we engage in the democratic process, we do so not just for ourselves, but for the collective good. And our faith calls us to hope, justice, and compassion. It calls us to recognize we have power and to shape the future. We shape the future through the choices we made, the voices we cast, and the leaders we elect. And I know it can feel overwhelming at times. The issues we face as a nation and as a world are vast and complex. But we must remember that democracy is built on the action of individuals, on the collective power of people coming together to make their voices heard. Former Florida Congressman Joe Scarborough of Morning Joe fame reminds us that the future of American democracy rests on the outcome of this election. And beloveds, elections have consequences. Elections are not abstract exercise in democracy. They have concrete, tangible outcomes. They determine who make decisions about our schools, our health care, our environment, our economy, our justice system, and so much more. Elections determine who gets to sit at the table, the right to vote, the opportunity to have voices in shaping our government. And it is a sacred responsibility. And generations before us fought and sacrificed to ensure this right for us. From the founders of this nation, imperfect they might have been, to our civil rights activists who marched, who risked their lives, who endured violence and hatred so we can have the privilege of casting a ballot, this right was hard won. But yet, how often do we take it for granted? How often do we let election pass without fully understanding the gravity of our choices? Too often we see elections as just another event in the cycle of life, something to deal with every few years, or something that we can ignore if it feels too overwhelming. But let me remind you once again, election has real consequences and lasting consequences. And when we elect leaders, we are choosing people who will either protect or undermine the rights of individuals and community. We are choosing people who will either safeguard our environment for future generations or allow it to be destroyed for short-term profits. We're choosing people who will work for peace and justice or perpetuate systems of inequality and violence. Every vote, every election shapes the world we live in, and as a people of faith, as Unitarian Universalists, we have a moral responsibility to ensure that our choices reflect the values we hold so dear. Our values are not just words we recite. They are principles that allow us to guide our action. But democracy is not just about elections. It's also about the values we uphold, the right to protect the future we create together. So the future is in our hands, the future of democracy, the future of our nation, the future of our children. So let us not take that lightly. Let us not take it for granted, because one day, future generations will look back and ask us once again, what did they do? So let our answers be clear. We stood up, we fought, we loved, we built a better world. So in the end, democracy is not just about election. It is about the values we uphold, the rights we protect, and the future we create together. So may we rise at this morning with courage, at this moment with courage, hope, and unwavering commitment to build a better world for all of us. May this be so. Amen.
All right, I know we get a little antsy after an hour, but it's singing that's left. And this one's a sing-along, and you know it, and you're going to sing along.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What power? If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh.
full of inspiration today. Just out of curiosity, how many of you have already voted? All right. Give yourself some applause. The chalice extinguishing is We Keep Its Light in Our Hearts by Maddie Cefantis. We extinguish this flame, but we keep it light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again.
We've had church in here this morning. Now, regardless of the outcome on Tuesday, we may not know it for the end of the week, just remember that our unity is our strength, and we are called to remain rooted together and stand together. And while elections have consequences, so does our daily work to building the world we envision. Our unity is essential to our journey, and our path for a just and more unified society is not determined. And regardless of what happened on Tuesday, the work of healing, listening, building continues way beyond Election Day. And we must continue our fight for justice, our love for our neighbors, our belief in dignity and work for every human being. So let's hold on to our faith together, our faith in one another, that we can create the beloved community that we learn for. On this Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., the Great Hall will be open for meditation, prayer, reflection, contemplation, and we'll have ministers here on duty if you need pastoral care. And at 6 p.m., we'll have a post-election Vesper service, and I invite all that can attend to join us. Soulful supper will follow. And if you can make it out, regardless of the outcome, please do. There'll be a time that we need to be together in community. So I hope that we see you all here. Now please rise in body and spirit as I give the benediction. Words by Joseph Cherry. If we have any hope of transforming the world and changing ourselves, we must be bold enough to step into our discomfort, brave enough to be clumsy there, loving enough to forgive ourselves and others. May we, as a people of faith, be granted the strength to be so bold, so brave, and so loving. And then go out knowing that you are blessed. Go in peace. And let us sing our closing hymn, We're Building a New Way.
sacred and loved and beautiful in her own way.